So we're going to try something today, which is kind of half past life regression, but mostly just straight up channeling. And Adam's going to channel. I'm going to work through the channel with him and ask some questions. So let's get started.
There's like this glowing sun kind of emanating.
Uh-huh. Okay,
hmm
good. And is this glowing sun, is it anything to do with the doorway, or if we just skip that step, you just real right there with this character?
so it's interesting. It's like there's this doorway and then the door's open
Okay.
and then it's like then I go right into like space, but it's
Yeah.
more of like clouds and stuff like that.
Okay, good. So,
hmm
I'd like you to, how do you feel about the doorway?
It's it's seems very like expansive
Good,
and
good.
um I mean it's very deep. It almost feels like everything kind of makes sense.
Yeah, wow.
Um
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it almost kind of feels a little more. It almost actually feels more natural than this.
Good. All right. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm
that's a
kind of
pretty good.
laughing because that seems much more like true nature, and this seems more of like the separate kind of.
Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
since you feel good about the doorway, and I just want to advise you now, if you ever do this work and you're ever uncomfortable with the doorway or it's neutral, do not go through. It's the wrong one. But
Okay.
since you're feeling good about it, I want you to go ahead and go through the doorway.
Okay.
And go ahead and
Ooh.
doorway. And again, your pyramids, if we have any problem, we'll just come right back out. Just
hmm
go ahead in your pyramids and just float and drift. What do you see on the other side of the pyramids? Or sorry, the other side of the door.
Well, it's interesting. All of a sudden now there's this image of this almost kind of like big dragging type of character. Um, it's like it almost feels like it's trying to like spit like fear at me, but at the same time like I feel like I'm able to like face it, but like it's hard and painful and challenging.
Good, great. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah, it's
So,
hard and it's painful and it's like challenging,
yeah.
and it's the energy is like it's all kind of in pictures and and feelings and energy.
Mm,
um
okay.
and it almost it feels like it's this kind of energy barrier that's been really hard to break.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay. So remember, you're protected in these pyramids, so nothing's going to happen to you. But in the
Yeah.
just, feel the protectors that are there with you. Let's just ask this dragon. We might just need to dismiss him, but I'd like you to just ask this dragon, who are you?
Who who are you?
What does he say?
It's like this it's like a remnant it's like this remnants of like projection and confusion and personal fear. It's like a layer of like blahness, like a layer of like a thick layer of like scum,
Okay, good.
if
Well,
that makes sense.
yeah,
It's yeah,
yeah.
it's like this thick layer of like of just of like film and crap.
Okay, good, good. All right. Well, so I'd like us just for now, we're just going to dismiss the dragon and just let the dragon know, maybe some other time. You don't have to be rude or impolite. And I'm just saying, if you
hmm
just go, please, maybe some other time, please step aside
hmm
and just let a person aside, and then let's move ahead. I think that's an important message we will talk about when we meet your guide today. But just
hmm
move him aside, and then after you move him aside, then just let's proceed again in your pyramids, float in
hmm
this particular direction.
hmm
What are you seeing now?
Whoa, this big, this huge, like, looked like Bengal tiger with its mouth open and the fangs has like roared through.
Uh-huh. Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Who is?
So, so the tiger within itself is not. It's it's like a tiger representing strength.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So ask the tiger, is he your guide today?
Yep, he's my
Oh,
guide. Yep. He's
okay.
either like he's like jump on my back.
Okay. Well, let's make sure that he's here with good intentions.
Oh, okay.
And the way that we can do that is by saying, first of all, ask the tiger his name.
Mm-hmm. What's your name? Mm. Hmm. I'm getting like twists and turns and just a bunch of like
Uh-huh.
I'm not
Okay.
sure if I'm losing him now or if I'm just
Yeah, he's not your guide.
okay.
Right. You're being shown this for a reason. These might just be ways that get you to practice knowing who your guides of the highest good are. And so now
Yeah.
we've got this another character who's jumping on your back. And again, we're just going to say, thanks for showing up, maybe another time, and just sort of dismiss him, right?
Yeah, it's like he was there for like a moment, but then it was sort of like he was there for a moment and then like
Yeah, maybe another time he will be useful, but right now he's
it
not going
was just
to.
yeah, trying to lead me into a place just of just like more muck.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay out of that muck.
Right, good, good, good. All right. So let's keep going. And again, I want you just to float in your pyramid, right? And just sort of float with the pyramids. Well, if you float with the pyramids, is there anything like outside of these figures? Are you like in a forest? Are you in space?
So now it's so now there's this bird that I see, and I'm like kind of sitting on the bird, and the bird is showing me this amazing view, but that also seems a little bit ungrounding as well.
Why does it seem ungrounded?
It's expansive, but it's like a little bit more than I can kind of energetically take in.
Good. Okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
Again, we'll just say thanks and
Uh-huh.
just dismiss that bird. And
Oh, wow. Okay, there's all these like old there's all these either old ideologies, old figures of something in consciousness, either from this life or a past life, that feel like they're sort of like melting away,
ah,
like a purge with things,
yeah,
so
yeah.
to speak. Uh-huh.
Uh-huh, good. Okay, I think that's, not what we expected, but it's totally useful and really intriguing.
Yeah.
So,
Uh-huh.
all right, let's just understand what that is.
Uh-huh.
And as we understand this, then let's just kind of gently move it out of the picture.
Okay.
And, and now I'm just going to be a little bit more directive here. I want you
Mm-hmm.
just to float. Again, your pyramids are totally protected. And I want you just to float and float and float. But I want you to float in outer space, right? And as you float in outer space, drift and float, float and drift. And now you get to a river, right? And when you get to this river, I'd like you to look down at the river. And as you look down at the river, you see that each drop of water is a star. This is a river of stars. And when you cross it and get to the other side, we will meet your true guide. Now, in your own time, in your pyramids, totally protected, cross the river. And when we get to the other side, a guide will appear before you.
Ooh, okay.
The guide may be a human, and it could be an animal, it could be almost anything. Uh, Now, it sounds
It,
like the guide has. Who has shown up?
it's like an Egyptian type of man figure.
Uh huh. Good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So let's ask his name.
Mm-hmm.
Does he give you a name?
Something like raw, so I'm getting like just small like vowels, small simple vowels.
Uh huh. That's okay. Good.
Uh-huh.
But would Ra be appropriate?
Yeah, I'd say like raw so.
Rosso. Okay, good. Now here's another way
Rosso.
we must test because even though we meet a spirit, it may not be from the highest good. I'd like you to ask that spirit to show you something that lets us know it comes from the light.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, what does Rosso show you something?
Yeah, he shows me it's like this, it's like an eagle and it's perched
Ah,
on him. Hmm.
how do you feel
Hmm.
about that in your heart? How do you feel like that symbol image?
It's, I mean, it's power, it's strong and it's powerful, but there's also some divisiveness and some strife. For some reason I'm having a just a really hard time like
No problem.
getting past this sort of strife energy.
No, no problem at
It's
all.
like it feel you know it feels very like it's just
Maybe
very heavy.
maybe this is the point that you need
Uh-huh.
to encounter the heavy energy before move beyond it. So
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
let's just say, Rosso, can you send us another image? It's okay if the answer is no.
Okay, he's sort of faded away.
Uh-huh.
Now it's more this image of this pyramid with like a sort of this sun on top of it.
Okay. Good.
Hmm.
How interesting. So, is the pyramid large?
Pyramid is it's like a Mayan pyramid, but even that just turned into a volcano
Aha. So the image is
and like
complete.
erupted.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's ask again for your guide to appear before you. Let's just sort of dismiss these images just for now. Just maybe they'll come back later, but right now, we're again going to ask for your guide to appear before you. The guide may appear in a physical form of a human or an animal, even a cartoon character. It might just be light. We're asking for a
Hmm.
guide of the highest consciousness to show up for Adam right now. Who shows up?
Okay, it's a almost a Jesus type figure.
Uh-huh, yeah, the way we started. Good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's ask him, what is his name?
Michael.
Michael. Okay, good. So let's ask Michael to show us something that lets us know he comes from the light.
Okay.
What does he show you?
Show me like this white dove.
How do you feel about a white dove?
Hmm.
It's a
I
good.
mean, it's gorgeous. It's
Good.
gorgeous.
Okay, this is the one we want, right?
Yeah, this one's a little interesting though because it's linked. This is the channel right here that is more linked with the past lives.
Oh, well, that's
Yeah.
intriguing. Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it's not necessarily full of like ecstatic and joy because the past life memory channel wasn't necessarily the case of the existence, if that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
But it's the channel though that's mostly linked to it, and I'm on that page right now.
Okay, good. All
Yeah.
right, good. So that's perfectly fine. So let's ask
Yes.
Michael some questions.
It's a comfortable channel. It's a more comfortable. There's
Okay,
less.
good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it should be comfortable.
Yeah, it's more
It should
it's
not be
yeah.
uncomfortable, right? If
Yeah.
it's
It's more
uncomfortable,
comfortable.
it's wrong, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is an important lesson
It's
for us. Let's
yeah,
then
yeah.
ask Michael some questions. And one question that I'd just like to ask Michael is, why did we go through all these characters to get to you?
So uh, it is uh, has so much to do with the collective and the technology and the stuff that's being bombarded and how I'm using my free will time and what I'm choosing to focus on. Um,
Good.
yeah, along with also too some of the satellites and things that have been put out there for distraction.
Good. Okay.
Yeah, so there is. there's this collective force field now with a lot of junk.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's ask Michael, what does he think you should do about all this junk?
Understand that it is in the realm of diversion, in the realm of chaos, the realm of distraction, the realm of the unreal, the realm of the of the quick fix, and es- essentially this realm should be, I don't want to say it should be put to a joke, but but it but it's like the realm of the false, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So it's
And
the realm of the false,
good.
and that's really all it is.
Good. Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic. All right. So here we are in this realm to know about it. So are there any practical actions that Michael or others should take to not be distracted by that?
Yes. So there is the development of the a strong development of an inner resistance is needed right now. A
Mm.
strengthening of an inner force field, a
Mm-hmm.
groundedness
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
very much needed right now. Um, this basically it's here as distraction to uproot. Um, however, it's it, it's like so much at it's so much at once, um, that it's just it's almost like needs to be looked at as it's absurd. It needs the power needs to be taken away from it. The mental
Ah,
power.
good. So let's specifically ask, what should Michael do to get away from this power? What strategies or books or whatever?
So a sense of quietude is needed right now. So we're going now into a realm of collective air and fire, which is the masculine force, which is great. We need the masculine and we need the feminine, but there's going to be a excessive air, excessive fire right now. So air's ideas, communications, but in an excessive realm, that's going to be destabilizing. So people need to get back to center, activities that involve things like nature, um, grounding, night meditations, even just being up and awake and aware in a quiet place.
Mm-hmm.
The yin yang balance is you know, it's gotten way, it's the shift has become so much to one side right now.
Yeah.
uh,
So,
mhm.
why? What are we supposed to learn out of this situation?
So there's several there's several big lessons. Number one is to not give our power away.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a really big one, to keep our own power, to keep our own authenticity.
Fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'd just like to ask Michael, there's a lot of people who are really, really upset right now because of our political and social situation. They're very worried. What message could you give to them, Michael?
So the message that is coming through is that hate breeds more hate, fear breeds more fear, chaos breeds more chaos. Are you going to choose to focus on that, or are you going to choose basically the message is that at any time the door for choice is completely open.
Mm. Hmm. So what does people choosing better look like? How can they choose the right things?
So this this is this is a great question. So we have seen extreme collective behaviors right now. So uh nothing is black and white. That's the first thing. Is seeing something black or white is has got to go. Preferences, yes, that's important, but the extreme black and white, it's not working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the next thing is that being there's the whole movement in the authentic self right now is changing. That's what it is. In the spiritual, in the new age community, the realm of what we would call the authentic self 5-10 years ago is changing and evolving slowly, and it has a lot of us not quite sure where our authentic self is. So we're gonna have to really dig. We're gonna have to reach in. Our authentic self stays and moves forward in us keeping our authentic selves. If that makes sense, it's like it's so simple, but it's also been overly. It's like it's been overly. It's been like the complexity around it has become the way that we've forgotten about it.
Yeah, good one. Okay, that's really intriguing. So, we are a little bit worried also about the political future. Are there some actions that we should take, or what attitude should we have just looking at the social and political future?
So one thing we need to understand is that number one, we are bombarded by technology. Number two, we have the choice as to how much we're going to be paying attention to that. So the number one thing that comes in here is free will. So to remember that. Number two is the collective force field. What we're seeing in the news represents extreme behaviors with things. Keeping perspective is really important. Understanding that things that happen in the news, things we hear about, they do happen, but there's also a realm of sensationalism that happens as well. Again, it's like, are you going to eat for breakfast? Are you going to eat the candy? Are you going to have some Sour Patch gummies? Or are you going to have a banana, right? You want sugar in the morning? What are you going to have? Are you going to feed yourself a wholesome mental diet? Or are you going to be feeding yourself junk? So that's one thing as far as the choice. Also, another thing too, we are turning into that extreme realm of air and fire. Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, the planets that rule the collective mindset, are all going to air and fire, which is all the masculine energy. So a couple of things positive about this is there's going to be a lot of excitement in the air. So that's one thing. The collective energy buzz is going to be very high because we're lacking the earth and water in that. So that is something to remember as well. If you're someone who needs to have a lot of downtime, honor your downtime.
Okay.
So that is something that's important. I think of an analogy of like the yin yang, right? Needing the uptime and needing the downtime. So that's one thing too. Really, really giving yourself that time to be able to rest and reflect and recharge, self recharge, however that may happen. Another thing as well is not giving into fear tactics. Because what happens is, I don't want to use the word vampire. I don't want to use that word energy vampire, but collective fear, like it's all like it's all kind of a psychic realm in the sense that people are constantly reading energy off one another. Fear breeds more fear, but fear also weakens. It's a very weak state to be in fear about something.